to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Monday, so you know it's coffee, tea, thoughts, and conversations. We are trying something new today. We have a number of guests on screen, as you can see. We're about to talk about pricing it right. I'm joined today here with my co host, Ms. Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. Our guests today include Michael Rowe, Janice Jordan, Dr. Tachi, and our Island Girl Hustle, Coach Karen Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. So we got Canada in the house, we got Florida in the house, we got California in the house. Let's get this party started. How you doing today, Fran?
And I'm doing well, and we also have
you
Terry.
Are muted.
Oh, sorry. Actually, I'm not muted.
Francine. Everybody go like this. Let Francine know we can't hear her.
Okay.
I hear her.
I can hear her.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Terry, you might need to come out and go back in because you're not hearing us. But I also have Terry Johnson from Terry Johnson Online waiting in the wings. So whoever can let Terry know that she may need to jump out and come back in. For whatever reason, there's a glitch when you're on the iPad. So Karen or Tachi, let her know, please, because she can't hear me, but she can hear you guys.
Karen, you may need to go out and come back in.
Not Karen, Terry.
I'm sorry. Terry, yes.
Yeah, because
Terry.
I can't do anything. Okay.
Oh, then I have also, we've got TJ coming in too. Okay. Gary is live over in the chat. And so we've got also Jill from the Breathing Space. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to have this conversation today because we promised we would a few weeks back about pricing it right. There's a lot of people who have questions about how to price their products or their services. Many people are undercharging. Some may be overcharging, but who knows? But definitely we all need to have this conversation. I think it's apropos. I'm going to use a big word today. We need to have this conversation. So let's start it off with Tachi. Dr. Tachi, talk to us about insights. What do you think the problem is for people not charging what they should?
Well, and I think we would all probably say the same thing. First of all, thank you for having me again. And I think we would all probably say the same thing in terms of that we're afraid that if we price things too high, that people won't use our services. And sometimes that comes from a point of desperation where maybe you've left a job and this is now you're an independent contractor, you've started a new business and you need this business to come in. And so in an effort to get the business, you have the tendency sometimes to underprice yourself. But what we don't realize is that it's not just about you. It's not just about us. When you underprice yourself in your industry, you're affecting everybody else in that industry. Because then when you charge $2 for a website, everybody else is going to say, well, such and such charge $2 for a website. So you are affecting everybody. So I think that's probably one of the primary reasons to get that business, because we're afraid that if we charge too much, we won't get it.
Right.
And then we got the empathy factor, don't we? Well, I just want to help everybody. And, it's just not Christian not to. And then we got all these reasons why we're pricing our stuff so low.
Okay, Janice, or let me have Michael weigh in. Michael, what are your thoughts? And then I got Terry Johnson. I got to bring her in at some point.
Well, and I thank you for having me. Pricing is one of those difficult things. As you just heard, sometimes we price it low because we want to get the business. That's fine if you're first starting out. but you leave yourself no room for doing a sale or a promotion, and you need to bring that price up as the business comes up. But pricing services and products are different. Products are a little easier because typically you want to mark it up 100%. So if it costs you $25, you sell it for $50. That gives you the ability then to do a sale, marketing off of that, and all of that. Services, you have to do a little bit of research and find out what the services in your area are going for there. And then you have to decide a couple of things. Are you going to be the price leader, meaning the best price, or are you going to give the best service, or is your product and service unique enough that you can price it accordingly? And so you have to decide. If you're going to do it on price, you will always be, live by the sword, die by the sword. So if price is your thing, then you always have to have the best price. But if you provide a unique service, a better service, a unique product, then you really can price it according to what you feel it should be.
Oh, nice.
Mm. I like
Okay.
that.
Coach Karen, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, all the two guests spoke on, I agree. Like, that's part of what happens in pricing. But the bottom line is people price according to, as Tachi said, the desperation need. And when you price from that part, it's just so hard to price right. Okay, I just saw somebody talking about, offering cleaning service for $99 and 3 people did the job. And like, there's no way she can pay those people much less pay money to her own. Now, if you're going to price and you decide, okay, for the first 10 people, I'm going to price at this point, then it's fine. So, anybody after then is not going to get that number. And you've got to be conscious of that. If you're going to run a business, it's never about, it is about research and understanding what the industry can stand. But once you understand your value, and that's why I always say it comes down to you before the customer. Because when you understand the value you're offering, you go about things differently. So your results is different. And even if it takes a little while longer, it still will be valuable in the long run for yourself and your business. And you really want to pay attention to that, because there's nothing like feeling really bad and shabby if you sell below what you're supposed to sell for, and you work so hard and you still not paid right. So you start not doing a good enough job anymore. You're not working at the 100% that I've been talking about lately. You working, if you were working at 40 or 60, now you're in the 30 zone. You're now working at that 100%. So even though you're desiring to give great value, you're not showing up that way. So you're not producing that way. And that's service or product. And I agree with the gentleman. Product is a little easier to price. At least that's how it feels. And services feel like you can price that way. Again, it's not truth, going back to yourself and how you're feeling, how you're delivering, and what kind of story you're telling yourself in your head will dictate if you can actually call the price, write the price, set up the price on your proposal, understanding that you might not get that business, but it's okay. And that's tough when people are starting out. Just tough.
Okay. Okay, I'm like, the nuggets right there. So what do we do about it? Is it something that needs to start in our brain first or in our mindset first before we even sit down to, I know some of us jumped into business and we're running the business and what have you, but do we need to back up and sit down and figure out what is really going on in our head? I know Coach Karen talked about that because she does the mindset stuff, and Michael does the actual skill set, the actual hands-on putting the numbers to paper. And I think we need to have both of those. But I don't think if we don't have that mindset straight, it's going to be a difficult way in business. Is that what I'm hearing from you all?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, that's what's happening. Because I have told somebody once what they can price their goods at. We went through the whole gamut of why this number is right. And it still went back and priced it below. because they're having realized, number one, the value that they feel in themselves. So it didn't really matter all the steps we went through because we hadn't dealt yet with, with our part. And I said, you're coming from desperation. So immediately you want to make money today, yesterday, but you're not going to make any money because we haven't dealt with that stuff that is holding you back. And and it took her a minute to realize I can have everything set up. It's like business online. You can have your website, you can have social media blazing, everything's going, but you're never going to make any money because you haven't set yourself up. The numbers have to be right. You got to be able to watch the numbers. You got to be able to work on yourself consistently. You can't do it all at once. Like you can get there all at once, but you got to start working on yourself daily. It's a daily job. Okay, I'm gonna zip it so I don't take over. You guys know when I get into this how I can get. So
good. And a comment over on the side, Terrell Ballard Mitchell says, good morning. She loves this topic. And you mean it's not based on what you need in your checking account this week to pay your bills? Janice, do you want to speak to that?
As I said, I'm going to give people a chance so that they can speak.
Oh, okay, Janet.
Can I chime in a second?
Yeah, you can chime in a second.
Okay. The person that bugs me the most in pricing isn't the person who is afraid to charge enough. It's the person who thinks their product is so good that they overprice it so high that you can't afford it if you wanted to. And they can give you 101 reasons why you need to buy their coaching at $1,000 an hour instead of somebody else's at $100. They're the person that really annoys me the most.
Okay.
So,
May I ask
What do you
why?
do for them? How do you stop them from overcharging?
and I would be asking, now we're going to dive into this. I would be asking, what are they offering? Because I don't think not everybody that charges $1,000 for coaching per hour is overcharging, but are they delivering on the result that the person is looking for? Now, if they're not delivering on the result and they just giving you a couple of pieces of paper and saying, hey, see ya, then that's a problem. But if they are delivering on the result, like for instance, Tony Robbins, apparently he's delivering on the results or people wouldn't be still shelling out, right? They would not be writing that check however they're working with him. So apparently that coaching model is working for him and people are okay with it. There are some other in the real estate industry. There's a gentleman that is $1,000 a month to coach with him, but he's getting results for those agents. Now, here's the other side of this. You have to do the work.
Okay.
Well, if you're seeing results, if it's a well-known name like Tony Robbins, I get that. If you can see results, but somebody who's just a local person who doesn't have a bunch of clients to prove that they're worth $1,000 an hour shouldn't be charging $1,000 an hour. I mean, they think, okay, Tony can do it, so can I, but they don't have the stuff behind them to get them there.
Here, Terrell. Okay, yes, Dr. Terrell said, what will the market bear for the type of coaching provided? Justify. Okay, Dr. Chachi.
So 2 things with this. And the first thing you mentioned is real estate. And when I look at that and look at the analogy, okay, so the market we're in right now, and Francine, you have a better concept of it. I just work with realtors. You actually are a realtor. I'm looking at neighborhoods, my neighborhood, for example, and the houses across the street, and all of them have been redone, mid-century modern. Everything is like super upgraded. Now, fine, I know upgrades to kitchens and bathrooms and such add to, impact windows here in Florida. All of that adds to the value of your home. But I look at some of these things and their price, and I'm like, I don't mean any harm, but good and damn well your house is not worth that much. However, it is if somebody is willing to pay for it. So here's the operative thing. It's the market and what people are willing to pay for it. The other end of this is we can't hate. Like, I sit there and I'll admit, I hate on people I've been teaching public speaking for 18 years and presentation making for 18 years. I have a PhD in communication. So I've actually not only taught this on the university level, but I've been trained to do this. So I can't sit there and hate on somebody who is like, I could teach you how to be a great speaker and is making millions because I'm not doing it. So part of the problem is those of us that are actually qualified to do some of these things, we don't do it. A lot of us are university professors, and we've been taught the poverty mentality by the institutions of all we're supposed to do is serve. And so we don't actually take the talent that we bloody well paid for and use it to make money. So part of that is also those of us that have the talent, and not just PhDs, but people that have the talents that aren't doing it and are letting other people get the shine for the stuff that we bloody well know. So those are the two problems that I see in terms of the overpricing, because those people set the market.
Right. And the Tony Robbins of the world, he had to start out somewhere.
Okay.
Exactly.
I don't know what he started out with when he first got started, but he started somewhere. And I'm going to be switching people in and out because, again, we can only get 6 in. So I might move you out because I got Terry Johnson in there. And
I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna move out and let somebody else in. Okay.
Okay, Janice. Janice, tell us about the CEO space. I'm going to bring you back in. I want you to talk about the CEO space, please, because I think that's is that nationwide?
Is it what?
Is it nationwide?
It's a national.
Oh yeah, it's worldwide.
Worldwide.
It's all
Okay.
around the world. Yes.
Okay, you're gonna have to.
And we have a forum coming up in October, so you want to hear about this?
Yeah, so you need to come back in. I'll bring you back in to talk about that. So don't go too far. Okay, so I'm bringing TJ in because TJ has another perspective from actually doing websites and stuff from people. So that is a service base, but it's not like coaching. So we got Coach Karen that does the coaching. We have Michael who does, he's going to help us because we talked about his 6 questions earlier today.
Yes.
I still have my sheet, Michael. But it bears to be talked about. We really need to talk about it. So Michael, talk to us about them 6 questions because a lot of people I don't think have done that part of the homework.
No, we have.
Yeah, so every business should be able to answer 6 questions, and when I ask them, most can't. The first question is what is your product mix? What do you sell, and what percentages? The next one is what are the margins on each of those products? What's it cost to acquire a new client is the third question, and we actually will break that down later into every product that you sell. What is the value of the first sale to a client? What's the lifetime value of a client? And what's it cost to open your doors every day? If you can answer those 6 questions, you can run any business, even if you have to hire the technical expertise on the if it's an auto body shop, people that do the auto body work. But if you can answer those 6 questions, you can run any business.
Okay. So most people that I know don't know the answer to those questions. Now, I'm sure Coach Karen does because she's a money mindset coach and she talked to us about that. And with BizChicks, I was like, okay, so what's our product mix? Okay, we got 3 major things that we do: office hours, workshops, and masterminds. And then I had to look, okay, what percentage is office hours? What percentage is workshops? What percentage is masterminds? If I'm understanding that correctly. Is that right, Michael?
That's correct. That's correct.
How much? Yeah. And I was like, ooh, we need to work on the math for the business. I was like,
Unfortunately, accounting has some math, but it's simple math.
yes. But the most business owners that are solopreneurs going into it, they don't do this.
No.
I think I learned this in marketing or somewhere in our marketing class. So what is the cost? Because you have to know your marketing costs to identify what does it cost to acquire a new client, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a couple of components. It's the cost of the marketing and the number of new clients. And it's simply dividing the number of new clients by the marketing cost, and that'll give you that. But you have to track it. And so whatever accounting program you use, whether it's QuickBooks or whatever, you need to have a way to track the new clients and the revenues that they produce. Once you can do that, the number of new clients is fairly easy, and it's just a simple math question.
No. And see, TJ is all about the tracking. And that's why you need to know your analytics from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, or on your website. You need to know all those analytics, or you're not going to be able to calculate how much a new client is costing you.
Right. And the time that you take on those sites and the time that you take to create content to attract those people, you got to put that in too. A lot of people don't think about when they're making content for social media or what have you. You have to factor in that time. So if it takes you a long time to make one piece of content, guess what? You don't need to be doing that. Maybe it's cheaper for you to pay someone to do that because they're more efficient at it and the cost is lower for you. So you have to think of, a lot of people don't think about time, the time that you take to do things in your business. So if you're not proficient at editing video or creating posts and graphics for social media, guess what? Give that job to someone who knows that's their job and they're efficient at it, and they give you the price that fits into your marketing budget. So those are the things that a lot of people don't think about, like time.
Yeah, I'd like to chime in there because people go to networking events because they're free. And so they think, okay, well, this didn't cost me anything and I got new clients, and the advertising I spent cost me X and I got new clients. But if your time is worth anything, what do you charge an hour? That's what you should be allocating as a cost for a networking event, plus the meal, plus whatever else, because that is an actual cost. You weren't able to bill that hour and a half, and so that is a cost. And people think it's free, so they think I do more of those.
Mhm.
When in fact, the advertising may be more productive than the networking.
Wow.
Absolutely. And with networking, if I could chime in, what you have to look at is often when you're in one industry, a lot of the same in the same city, a lot of the same people are going to these same events. So you're encountering the same people over and over and over, which is fine. But then it's like it's like the whole thing of Facebook versus Instagram. Whereas with Facebook, you can get new people, but you're often going to reach the people organically that are already in your network. Whereas if you have an open account on Instagram, you're more likely to reach, using the right hashtags, reach outside of that network. So it's that same type of thing. So that's another end to networking.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd stop networking because I only go to paid ones. The free ones are just, yeah, that's what it sounds like, free. And it's never free. It really boils down to the same thing that I asked people. I said, if you're working 8 hours a day and you're traveling an hour each way, you're really working 10 hours. What an hour are you really making? Because when you know this, you behave differently. Also, that's the same reason I came up with a business budget and a personal budget. So you could understand what you're doing. So you know what you're budgeting for. You budget for what you want now and what you don't have, and what the cost is going to look like. So when Terry mentioned, you got to know, you got to hire somebody, when you can hire them. The budget will tell you when you can hire them because you put the numbers down. I love my numbers because it doesn't lie. If there's a zero there, there's a zero there. I made no money. And I want to see the zero, even though it makes me feel some kind of way, then it pushes me to work on that area because I don't want to see a zero. Or if there's a zero, I understand why there's a zero because I've been tracking. You got to understand all these things in business. If not, I rarely encourage you for business, but I'm like, get a job and spend the other 6 months, 3 months, a year figuring out if this is what you want to do, and then go to it, doing it, putting in 100%. None of that wishy-washy 30, 40%. Even if you start there, aim to get to the 100%.
Wow. So I'm hearing there's got some planning to do for all of this. We can't, I know there's a lot of people who are maybe watching, jumped in, or I'm going to do business. I rarely hear people talking about this side of the business. This is not the ice cream and cake. This is the vegetables. This is the stuff that we need to do to get to the ice cream and cake. If we don't track our numbers, we've talked about this before. If we don't track our numbers, if we don't even know our numbers, how are we really doing business?
Well, we complain a lot about the vegetables.
Right.
Okay.
I would say I second that very much, because I think many people spend more time planning their annual vacation than they do their business.
True. True.
Oh, Michael.
True.
Wow.
On vacation,
And
move my toes out the way.
and the vegetables thing, that is so on point. If we could take it to this realm for a minute, many people don't. There's so many of us that are live streaming and that are using live streaming tools and video, and not being able to properly monetize it, because a lot of us don't plan. So the ice cream and cake part is I'm on live and I get to talk to you and I have interaction and it feels good and all of that. But there's so many people that don't do the vegetables part, the artichoke of actually planning, the peas and corn and carrots of actually picking out the right equipment and what's going to sound good. The broccoli of finding out what platform works best. So a lot of people don't do that when it comes to this whole realm of live streaming. They just get on for the ice cream and cake and forget all about the other vegetables. And there are so many different vegetables when it comes to live streaming, which is, one reason. And they think that I'm going to get picked up by Rooster Teeth, or some other live stream network, or somebody will see me on YouTube and they'll want to pick me up for an HBO show. But you haven't done your due diligence of the vegetables, of all the things to make yourself great. Why would you monetize?
True. True. True, Taji.
So true.
Right. And, a lot of people now, that question number 2 from Michael, what are my margins? Well, you don't know your margins if you don't know what it really costs you to put that product together. And like with Terralina, she has the California cover-ups. Well, it cost her time to go and shop for the custom cover-ups. Or is the silk coming from Italy? What is the cost of her acquiring that fabric? Then the cost of her sitting down and sewing the fabric, and the time that it takes her to get it, here, shipping it in, and then the labels that got to go on it, and then the bag, and then the tissue that goes in the bag. A lot of people don't even add up all those costs. That's the cost of the product. And then you sell it for $16, and then you.
Yes, but sometimes it doesn't make sense for it's great to handmade. Anybody selling handmade really have a hard time, because what you're talking about, Fran, it's their nemesis. They can't get around it, and sometimes you have to sit and sew and decide that maybe. So we're going to tap in on Terry here again. Do I need to get this outsourced? Do I need to get into a factory who is going to be able to do it? And I love doing those sort of things too. So the first time I went to actually a factory and talked to the woman, I was saving You know, it was gonna say it's gonna cut my price down in half. I'm just gonna say this. Forget all the nitty gritty. It's gonna cut me down in half, and it could turn over so quickly that I don't have to spend time there. So I could spend time marketing, and that was more important than selling versus the feeling of nicety. So if I wanted to feel nice, I could make myself a dress, but I don't need to feel nice by hammering out a whole bunch of it. If business wise, it doesn't make sense because it has to make sense for your business. Pricing has to make sense for your business. If it doesn't make sense, you're not in business. You have your hobby. Go do it and enjoy it.
And then there are the people, we have some people who have higher end. The lady, she makes exquisite bags, but then she needs to charge accordingly for that bag. If you're taking your time and it takes you 3 to 4 weeks to produce the bag, there should be a cost for that 3 to 4 weeks. In the
Right.
bag.
You have to get to that mind frame to be able to charge it. Just like
Right.
when Janice was talking about the coach charging $1,000. I'm not talking about the wishy-washy people, but the people who is confident enough to charge $1,000 an hour, they got there. And because you didn't see how they got there, and because they might be living on your street, or you just met them, that doesn't mean they're not qualified to charge $1,000 an hour. I've got over 40 years of experience in business, period. Before I ever went to business school, I was probably in my 30s or 40s before I attended business school. But the things they were teaching me, I had learned through trial and error. This was just so I can have a certification or diploma to put on my wall because nobody asked me for it because I get them results. And that's what mattered. So I have to be confident enough to decide how much I want to make an hour and then how much I want to make per project. And once I was able to do that, I shift myself. I don't deal with hourly stuff because it makes no sense. Because if I work 4 hours a day, that's the only time I shall be paid. Oh, no. So if I want to be paid for the day, I need to go to the project. And so you need to figure out where your business is leading you and then do the work to get you there. And the people that can't pay $1,000 an hour, then those are not your peeps. They're just not your peeps. You're going to have to probably go through a lot of hard times, and people talk about macaroni and cheese, whatever you got to eat to get you to where you need to be if you believe and you know from blood, sweat, and tears that you're at the right place that you need to be at. And that takes a lot of work on your part to be there to watch somebody in the eye and say it's $1,000 an hour. And don't blink.
Oh,
Let them blink.
I like that about don't blink. There's a lot of people who blink. It's like
The minute you blink, people start seeing your. I'm not gonna get into my pricing structure, but I know this. The minute you step away a little bit. People see that opening and they're in there with you, and then you start doubting yourself about your worth and what you bring to the table. And you know this, but it's hard. It's hard to because you don't want to go into the whole spiel about telling people what you have unless you're in that part of the sales and that come up and now you're talking about that. But initially, that's not what you're selling, right?
Right. And if I could add to that, yeah, those are not your peeps, like you said. I love like those ain't your peeps. But one thing that I've done is like, you price things at a certain. It's interesting for me because I deal with both service and product. Because I have a t-shirt line, and then I also have services for things that I consult on. So when it comes to the consulting end of it, I had a client who was trying to haggle. Fine, we're Nigerians. That's what we do. Haggle for the price. How the hell ever. I was like, well, no, this is actually the price. What I can do though is we can do less sessions and reduce the amount of information that's in there and focus on one thing specifically, or we can do one session and this would be micro focus. So there were kind of options. So one thing that you can do is actually have options if you're interested in serving a broader segment of people have packages or have options for this. So, at the end of the day, this person went with what I told them in the first place. But, they went with it. So that's another thing. You have to kind of stand, I hate the stand your ground term, but that's what you have to kind of do. And they'll know that if they want, and then I told her, I was like, well, here's what you're getting for the price, in case you didn't know.
Right.
You're getting the benefit of somebody who actually has a PhD in this area, somebody who has worked in this field, XYZ. So if you want me, this is what it's going to be. However, here are some of the, the other options that exist. And at the end of the day, guess what? They probably will go with the option that you told them first. But if not, then there are other options for them.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I had an entertainment business a number of years ago, and one of the things I found is when a new client that I was pitching would say, "Well, can you do it for 6 weeks at a lower price?" And I said yes a number of times and regretted it because it was very hard to get that price up for those later.
Mm-hmm.
You'd already set the value at what you agreed to,
Right.
and it was hard for them to do that. Now, if it was successful enough for them, then you could. But if it was marginal for them, they just weren't going to do it.
Yes. Yes. Good point there. Really good point there. For my cleaning business, I'm in a group, and the lady was talking about, a client, and one of the things she couldn't answer, but I'd ask, what is the client worth to you? Something you're talking about. And if the client was worth $7,500 a year to you, and there's just things that need fixing, why not fix it? Because you're going to spend more getting a new client. Don't get yourself in where you're really upset with a client when it's tiny things. The things she was complaining about was really tiny. It's just that she sees it as a nuisance to get done. And that could simply mean she just been overworked in the wrong area of her business. And I stated that. I said, maybe you need to hire a manager who's going to look after that, operation manager. And don't be mixed up with an office manager, because she's going to do different things. And you have to be willing. That's how expansion happens. And then these sort of things don't even reach your ear, because it stops at the office manager. The operation manager deal with it, bring it to the office manager, and she got it straightened out. You don't know nothing about it. The very rare need to get to you. Mm-hmm. And if you got, quite a few of those kind of clients for the year, you're missing out on some really great dollars. I know it's the gross, but you're missing out on some really great dollars. You put 6 to 20 of those people around, and then you watch your bottom line just sink. So you got to pay attention to what you're grumbling about. Grumbling.
Terrell says you are talking about my favorite, lost opportunity costs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can we? Did you see Brenna's question?
Yeah, I'm putting it in there too. She said, I had a customer want me to custom set a smoky quartz in 14 karat gold field. He really wanted the price before we met. I said, I can't know for sure, but it depends on the size of the stone, the accent stones, and then I can give a price. He pushed. I said it wouldn't cost more than $250. I never heard from him again.
He wasn't serious.
No,
right.
He wanted it for $25.
I wanted you to talk about that question, because that is where you're in an area where you're creating products and things or services that it doesn't fit in a box. So when someone asks me, oh, well, how much do you charge for a website? I was like, well, I have to talk to you and find out what are your goals, what do you want to have, how many there's a lot of moving parts in there. So it can't be like a one size fit all price. Mm-hmm. And then when you get someone like that and you quote them a price that it may be this or that and they disappear, you kind of have to let that go, because like Tachi said, that person wasn't going to pay that price anyway. They wanted something more cheaper than what your prices are. So you don't need that kind. I mean, I know it sounds like you want to do business and get the money, but you don't need that to do business with that kind of person, because it's going to cause you headache in the long run. Because when you give them the item or the service, they're going to say, well, I don't like this and I don't like that. And that's where the cost creep comes into play where they say, okay, well, I paid you, X amount of dollars for this website. And then that's where I do a scope of work. A scope of work is where I say, this is the project. And I list the items that the person wants on their website or whatever the service that I'm doing. And then I say the cost. And I send that to them in a PDF and say, you have to agree to this before we go forward, because I need to have that in writing, because I'll do everything, complete the project. And then they'll say, well, can you do this? And can you add? And I say, okay, we're going to do another scope of work. I'm gonna put the things that you want. I'm going to put the price. I'm going to send it to you. You have to agree to that. And then I do the work. Otherwise, you will, they will try to get more out of you for that price that we negotiated in the beginning.
True.
So it's kind of like you have to go, well, I can't really give you a set price because of what you're doing. There's so many moving parts, and it's all custom made. Is when it's like that. It's custom made. You can't give them a one price.
Yeah, that's good, because because what happened to the people that were one-in-one websites? We don't even hear from them anymore. The people who, will, you can do it yourself, or we'll do it for you. And they are no longer even on the planet.
Right. So they have a price in mind.
Or the people who want $6,000, $7,000 website for $295.
And it doesn't happen. I want what I saw on DirecTV. Okay, you got 25 G's for that? Because that is not a...
It's like, if a woman goes to the hair salon with a picture from a magazine.
What they're asking for. You want the cashmere coat for what? A synthetic price. I don't know.
Right. So Terry, TJ, go ahead and say what you were saying.
Oh, where a woman sees in a magazine a picture of a celebrity or somebody famous with a really nice hairstyle, they take that picture and go to the salon and say, I want to look just like that. Well, you may not look like that because your hair is different, different texture, whatever. So you're asking for a miracle when you probably get close to that.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think here's the thing. We have, as a society, we have become so used to cheap and free that sometimes as business owners that are providing services or products, we bend to that because society has been so used to cheap and free. And it's very difficult, like everybody has been saying, that it's very difficult to, like Michael said, it's very difficult to come back up once you've already started at the bottom. It's really difficult to do that. So we're just too used to cheap and free. Okay, so I braided, my hands are like killing me today because I actually braided a friend's hair last night. Now, I don't do that on a regular basis, but I would say I don't understand how women who have these hair salons braid on a regular basis, because I would have carpal tunnel and just like bent up fingers. But it made me realize the appreciation for how much they do charge. So when they're saying, no, it's going to be like $300, it'd be $300. Well, yeah, they're on their feet for sometimes 11 hours. So really, in a sense, they're undercharging. It's just that what it would take to produce that, most people are probably not willing to pay. And so you are stuck at that $300, because after I did, I'm like, damn it, this is like $1,000. I don't know how they do it every day for like less than $3. So
Tati, you are so right.
True.
You're sitting in there, you're like, and you don't want to pay that, but if you had to stand there and do that,
just the time it takes to sit in the chair.
Yeah. I have a great story about a guy that sold oats, and this guy wanted to buy the oats, and he wasn't willing to pay the price. The guy selling the oats says, well, if you don't mind if they've been run through the horse first, I can give you a better price.
There you go.
Yeah. People just love cheap. And as you guys are saying, we are told that, every society's been telling us it's okay for free and cheap, and everything you get free, if you really pay attention to it, you just stocking things up, you become a hoarder. You get a lot of free opt-in and you do nothing with it. When you pay for it, you tend to want to do something with it. And the more you pay, the more you really want to do with it. When it's cheap, again, you don't do much with it. I used to be a natural hairstylist, and when you sit in my chair, I tell you where it's going to start and where it could end, and you got to make a decision. Don't come if it's not going to end that way. Do not do it. Do not do it. It's $1,200 for me to do a dread for you. That used to be the price, and this is years ago. If you don't want to pay that, don't come and sit in my chair, because I'm not going to do it. And I'm not feeling any way telling you. The pricing, and I go back to this, it's all about you. Website, if you're doing coaching like I do, if you're doing audit for people business like I do, if you're setting up, people will if somebody's going to say to you, it's too expensive. Write it down. Somebody's going to tell me it's too expensive. Okay, how do I feel? I'll deal with that. Somebody's going to tell me whatever. Okay, I'm good. Write it down. I'm dealing with that. And once you go through the pace, when they do tell you, you're okay with that. If you're ugly, look yourself in the mirror. I'm ugly. Like, do not lie, because you can see, you. I'm ugly. So what am I going to do about it? I can't change my face, so I'm going to live with it. Moving on. Okay, you got to get to this point in your business so that your business can make money. And you got to price things. Nobody here is talking about overpricing. We're talking about pricing for the value you bring. I hope the listeners and the replayers understand this. We're not talking about overprice or for just overpricing sake. We're saying there's value that people put in. Most people is a lifelong thing they've been doing. They understand if you're in the fearful part, you got to get past that. And that is just work on yourself. If you're the parts where you're charging and you're not getting sales and you're thinking it's because, people can't afford you, that's a lie. You're just not reaching out to the right people. You're not doing the work for yourself so you can get to the right people, because no amount of advertising is going to get you there while you're not looking after yourself. You need to look after yourself. You really need to get there. I've been accused of thinking I'm bigger than people, a lot of names. Again, put it on the wall, move on from it. So you can't really tell me anything. I've heard it all. Please, moving along. You got to get to this point, and you really got to love you. Beautiful, ugly, in between. Got to really love on you so that you can really sell your product with confidence.
Wow.
Yeah,
ladies,
Fran,
We're working on our heads. One of the main things that happens is we don't feel worthy. We don't feel, you know what I'm saying? Our product is not worthy because somebody told us 10 years ago, I wouldn't pay that for that. But as Tachi said, everybody is not our customer. We teach that at BizChicks. Everybody's not your customer, boo. Next. Everybody doesn't want a Gucci purse. Everybody doesn't want somebody's name plastered on something or whatever. People have different things they're looking for. And so maybe it's the next customer. Don't trip.
ladies, just in case you didn't see, there were a couple of questions on Facebook.
right. There's some questions. Terrell has a statement, and then
Oh, good. And TJ, you can pop them up too if I'm missing something.
Terrell, he's not that. Yeah, well, there was two.
Leader.
Yeah, someone discussed loss leader.
Go ahead, TJ.
Okay, you want me to read it or
lost leader? I think that's what the entrepreneur think they are doing when they lower a price. Lost leader. Anybody want to jump in on that one?
I will. So a lost leader should and can be used effectively to draw new customers. So if you break even on a product or make a very small profit, that's only good if that customer, you can sell them other things while they're in the store, or they become a repeat customer. Mm-hmm. So if you give a free 30-minute consultation for your services, or you give a discounted price for a consultation, the only reason you should do that is so that it's an opportunity to talk to them, show them the value of what you have, so that you can sell them a full price product.
Okay. All right. So let's see. We got some more questions over here. We talked about the loss, no discount services. Which part do you deliver less on? This is Gary.
Mhm.
Which part do you deliver less on? Upfront pricing with a link, and don't blink. That's pretty good. Hey, Tracy. Gary has, okay, Brenna and Gary. I do find, I'm going to go Gary first. Gary says, I do find with millennials, you need to be creative about giveaways, but nothing is free.
Mm.
Do we really need to do giveaways? I personally am, that whole let me give you a free consultation thing is kind of like out the door, because I don't want to be resentful if I'm sitting with you for 30 minutes
Mhm.
and I'm not going to give you less than my best for 30 minutes.
Right.
I think you need to
Yeah.
pay up.
You know, if you pay and if you send them questions, if people already need something, if I carve out a time, like I've got 2 weeks running right now where people get to come in and talk to me, and I've decided that. So that's free. You're coming in for that 30 minutes. I don't expect to sell you anything. You don't expect to buy anything. If you want to, sure. But that's what I'm giving away. Otherwise, and even in that case, you still get, a document where you have to answer questions so that when you come in, we are talking about it. We're not wasting time, so we can get to where we need to get to. A girl had a show, and I had a giveaway, and somebody won, and she got the 2 hours free coaching from me, but she didn't have anything that clicked to anything. Everything was 404, so there was no connection. And I did reach out to her, and I said, you got to fix that stuff. If you want this sort of stuff, like, you have to fix it. So a lot of times people are not able to get things fixed to get to what they need to get to. So let me go back a little bit. If you have nothing and you're not making any money, you're not doing anything, spend time working on you. That's the time to do it. So make sure everything clicks, everything works. So when you reach out to people, you can get this stuff. And if we're talking about free stuff that we're giving people, most of us give away something more when we talk to people. If you're working at your 100%, you're gonna give. You're gonna give a lot of value. But if the person can't receive it because they haven't fixed certain things, they don't even realize that they got a bonus there. They just don't. You can't get a bonus because you haven't set up yourself to receive things. This is something people don't even realize that they've done for themselves. And I had to recognize it. And when something passed me by and I can see it, I say, why didn't I receive it? Where was I? What was I doing? And that's my thought process, because I'm in there in body, but the spirit wasn't there receiving and understanding. And then it comes around, but it never comes around right away. If I'm in this place where I am questioning, it might zoom by. I have to be so aware, though, to realize. If not, it takes a while to come back around.
Okay, well, let me say this about that. It sounds to me, I always like these everyday analogies. It sounds to me like if I promise you free chili and I come to your house and there's no bowl to put it in, you probably will not be getting free chili, because I'm not bringing bowls, knives, silverware, napkins. I promised you free chili.
Yes.
And you should have the table set so you can receive it. Is that what I hear you saying, Karen?
Yep.
Come on with the chili references. Carolina, come on with the references.
I like to keep stuff plain.
Yes.
Look, you're not ready to receive it. That's what I heard you saying. I'm bringing dinner, but you ain't got no plates. Table, what we doing?
Let me find out we're in church. Wow.
Brenda says, yes, cheap and free don't exist. Pay for the experience. The knowledge in my husband's case, California construction contractor, his 30-year experience with OSHA laws, county codes, etc. People want to pay less. That's fine. I tell him, no, don't go down. They need to get the other 2 bids to make a better decision. You simply hope they're comparing apples to apples. i.e. standard nails as opposed to galvanized, or concrete as opposed to none for a new fence. Yeah, there's a
Probably not going to be working for the government anyway because they're going to take the lowest bid. Don't trip. There are people out there who want quality, don't want the building to blow over. Okay. Which means when you go in a government building, you better go in and get out. Don't be messing around in there. I.e. when it's falling out in Sacramento. Okay.
Yeah, that whole
thing. It's okay.
Do you need me to switch out so that the other woman can come back in?
She's not down. She's not there right at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're good right now.
Okay, I'm just trying to be neighborly.
Well, I appreciate that.
When you're ready for Janice, she had to go to another call, but she's here in the office. She'll come look over my shoulder.
Okay, cool. That'll work.
Oh, great. Okay.
Lakeisha says people don't like rejection, so they figure out a way to get a yes. By lower.
Not my problem.
Is that by lower? What did you say, Tachi?
Not my problem.
Yeah. rejection is life. I mean, you were rejected how many times? Sorry. In case you don't know, you're rejected by your children if you have them, siblings if you do. People it comes in a different form, right? It just comes in a different form. And mirror work is good to do if you're afraid of rejection. Get a friend, and that sort of thing. Like, you need to work on that. Again, you need to work on yourself.
People are going to tell you no.
Here's the deal. Getting to yes, to me, is like messing around with a used car salesman. What do we have to do to get you in this car today? I am not that person. Okay. I don't do business that way. And I don't appreciate people who do. Because now I feel like you're not happy because I made the choice I made, and so I can't come back to you because you got an attitude because I didn't buy it today. I didn't get in the car today. I'm done. Okay. I'm just
that is very true, because I was talking to my team yesterday. I'm like, well, she didn't call me back. Well, she's not ready. It's okay if they don't call you back.
Yeah, you have to move on. That's why you have you should have other projects or other things to work on. Like Karen was saying, you work on yourself, you work on your website, you work on something when you have that, okay, I'm not actively working on a project or with a client or this or that. What else can I do with my time that's going to increase my bottom line and grow my business? You could learn something that you want to learn. You want to start a YouTube channel. Well, find out what you need to know to start a YouTube channel, or you're not on Instagram. Well, what do I need to do to get on Instagram? Or like I said, Karen's example was a person that had a 404 page on their website. Well, fix that, because you don't want people going to your website and seeing a 404. You don't want that. So you have downtime from working with an active project or client or whatever it is. Find something to do that's going to grow your business. Do that.
Right. Lakeisha says, I know a lot of people. But people ask me all the time, how do I deal with rejection? I don't see it as rejection. Keep moving.
Yeah.
And that's where the mindset has been set, right? Before you, I think we should take people back to school and work on mindset before we loose in the marketplace. Because people in the marketplace where their mindset is like, if you've been a person who's been taking orders from somebody like AKA the military or whatever, where you are always somebody telling you what to do, when you get in the marketplace and you're your own boss, it's going to be difficult because you don't have anybody telling you what to do anymore.
You have to do it.
Yeah, and if you can't tell yourself what to do,
you should always have something to work on in your business during a slow time, a downtime. That's your time to do something that's going to, some skill or whatever you need to fill in the blank when you didn't have time to do it before when you were busy.
Yes, because there will come those times of famine you know, that just see that as positive downtime that you have to improve your skills for professional development. And going back to the rejection thing, coming from the production and the television world, one of my favorite shows is Pose. I don't know if you've watched that show. It's the Ryan Murphy show on FX, about transgender youth, Black and brown youth in ballroom culture in New York City. Excellent show. They were told no on several times because, people are not ready for it. They were told no. I can't remember how many times. So they were rejected until FX said yes, right? FX is essentially Fox, until they said yes. So you're going to be told no. There are going to be people who don't see the vision. There are going to be people who don't understand. And there are going to be people who don't want to understand. But all it takes is that one entity that says, okay, yes, to get you rolling. And now look at Pose. Look at how many Emmy nominations they've gotten. So to me, TV and the media world is a perfect example of that, because in TV and in film, you get told no more than you get told yes. Can I tell you how many rejections I've gotten for film festivals? But then, you take the one time, and then we won our first film festival. So that's a perfect example for, you will be rejected, you will be told no. It's how you use that rejection to your advantage in the slow times, and it's how you look forward and maintain that positive attitude to, well, everybody is not going to be to say no. There will be one yes.
Yep.
I like it.
Everybody ain't gonna like you. It's okay.
You're not everybody's flavor.
Okay, TJ, isn't that an article of something you're watching that you're about to write? What did your mom tell you?
She said everybody not gonna like you. I was told that early, so I already know that. Okay, and for example, I talked to a prospective client a few weeks ago that had a nonprofit and had a website and wanted to do social media, and we talked over the phone, and I already knew that this wasn't going to go well because the person was outside and I could barely hear, and I was like, okay, this is starting off wrong. And I'm like, he says, oh, well, I need this and that, and I said, well, how many times a week, going into the details? Oh, I don't know. I said, well, okay, when you figure it out, how many times a week and what you need to do, send that information back to me. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. I moved on. I just remembered the story today going, oh, that person never got back to me. And maybe they will later, or maybe they won't. But I have to let that go, because I already had the feeling of that wasn't going to work well. The working situation, trying to work with that client and get information and get this approved and that approved. I already know. So I let it go.
Exactly. And then you know what? Sometimes, here's the thing. Sometimes you just have to leave people at the base of the mountain. Sometimes these individuals are not worth going after, because especially when you can tell that this judge is going to be a problem anyway, when you can tell, sometimes it's not worth it. Now, that's not for everybody, but if you can tell from the initial interaction that it could be problematic, or you start working with them and it could be problematic, maybe it's time to let that go. You know what? Hey, maybe you need to be with someone who can better suit your needs. It's less headache for you, because at the end of the day, is that million worth your peace of mind? Just saying. For some, it may be.
Right. You're absolutely right. And this comes from experience. I already know from an initial talking to and me asking certain questions and the answers that I get back, I already know what kind of deal, what kind of project is going to be working with this person. Because I know when someone is cooperative and want to achieve their goals with the website or social media or what have you, they give me appropriate responses. And if they give me some of the responses that this person was giving me, I was like, okay, you know what? Write everything down that you want and call and text it to me, and we'll talk. No, I didn't hear anything. So I know, I already knew when I said goodbye that I moved on to someone else or something else.
Saved you time.
So
experience.
This has been Price It Right, and hopefully, I really do believe that our viewers, people watching live, and those who watching on the replay are going to get excellent information and advice from all of these wonderful business owners, all of these knowledgeable business owners from a spectrum of
businesses. Michael, is Janice close by? I can go ahead and do it for her. She
Okay.
ended up speaking on the other one. So CEO Space is the #1 business accelerator in the world. And that's not according to them. That's according to Forbes, Success, and other financial magazines. They hold forums 5 times a year in Texas now. And then there are local events held. There's one tonight. There's one tomorrow night at Seasons 52. And then Janice has hers on September 18th, which is a Wednesday night at Wood Creek Country Club, and that starts at 6. And the best I heard is it's hard to describe what CEO Space is, but a guy that came back recently from a forum said it's a week's worth of contacts, a week's worth of prospects in 5 days. I'm sorry, a year's worth of prospects, a year's worth of contacts in 5 days.
Wow.
Wow.
So that is CEO Space. And if you want to know more about that, we will put that information in the chat. Coach Karen, where can we find you?
Island Girl Hustle everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Island Girl Hustle, Karen Fern, or Coach Karen. Island Girl Hustle everywhere.
All right. And Coach Karen is our money mindset coach. She helps us with our mindset about money. When we first started listening to Karen, it was like, oh, never thought about it that way, because we hear about money and we heard about, your money story, but Karen started digging around in places that nobody wanted to go, talking about sneaky fears and other things that people didn't want to talk about, but it was hindering their money, hindering their pricing of things. And so Karen digs down a little deeper than most coaches. So please check her out. Then we have Dr. Tachi. Tell us a little about where we can find you. We know what you do.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah. So I have a show called Mediascope that's every Wednesday night on Periscope, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, and WJMSradio.com. You can find that on the Mediascope page on Facebook at Mediascope16. You could also reach me on Instagram. I am Dr._Tachi, and some form of Tachi or Tachiata everywhere.
Right. Thank you. And then we have famous TJ online all the way from New York City. And if you are looking for a website, if you're looking for social media help and digital marketing help, you can find her here. She's here on Tuesdays with us every Tuesday. But if you really need to, and you want to avoid that 404 message and all of that, you need to reach out to TJ.
Yeah, find me everywhere, Terry Johnson online, except for Twitter. Twitter, I'm Web Girl TJ, because that's my, I've been on Twitter since, I don't know when it started. So I started out with that. So find me on Facebook or Instagram, Terry Johnson online, LinkedIn too.
Thank you.
Twitter is Web Girl TJ.
All right. And last but not least, Mr. QuickBooks. Well, you told us about CEO Space. Did you tell us about you, Mr.
No,
QuickBooks?
no,
We
I
didn't
didn't.
talk about getting our numbers right. Go ahead.
Right. So you can find me by Googling Mr. QuickBooks Sacramento, but we actually have a business called Insightful Business Services where we help you get better information out of your accounting. I'm also on Facebook as Michael Rowe or Insightful Business Services. And you can find me in any of those places.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, last but not least, Terralina and I, we want to thank you all for coming in. Please follow Let's Go Play over on LinkedIn. Let's follow one another on LinkedIn. We do have a page over there. If you type in BizChicks, you'll probably find us. And we're going to go look for you on LinkedIn because we're going to just do that. We need to be owning the real estate over there too. And we haven't been playing over there lately. And I guess if we played over there, maybe they'll turn on our TV show. Dr. Touch,
Yes.
you have a TV show on LinkedIn.
Yes, they finally decided that I'm not chopped liver, and they said you can go
Yeah.
ahead. And so we for the past 4 weeks now, we've been doing stuff on LinkedIn.
Woo! We're gonna have to go check it out over there. We got a new
Yes.
playground, people, new playground.
Yes.
So
Yes.
with that, we want to say thank you so much for tuning into this. Terry and Terralina is calling it a Webby. We're going to be doing more of these. It was good because there were questions about pricing, and whenever we got questions about something like this, we need to talk about it so that the community learns about it. We did broadcast this everywhere. It's on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. You can follow us over there at BizChicks TV. It is on, it will be on the IGTV. I'm gonna put it up over there. Twitter, Periscope, wherever this thing is streaming. So thank you all. We appreciate you all. Janice over in the background, thank you. And we look forward to talking to you tomorrow. TJ's online with us and Terry Johnson online. We're going to be talking tech and social media tomorrow.
Mhm.
All right. Thank
All right.
you, everybody.
Bye.
Looking forward to seeing you soon. And I am going to roll this.